But yeah, welcome back to the podcast, guys. We're at episode 9 or 10, something like that. We've been
I think it's 1,000. We had 1,000 episodes already, but the first 979 they are like kind of hidden somewhere.
yeah, they're somewhere.
No.
Thanks everyone for listening. We took the hiatus and then we came back, and then these new episodes are actually doing much better than the previous ones. So I don't know what it is, but we've got lots of viewers, and so thank you to everyone who's listening. And by lots, I think the last one was at 35, but like before we left, we were getting like less than 10. So the fact that we're, tripling and quadrupling in some cases is really cool and exciting. So shout out to the fans, the listeners, and all those people. You're the best.
And I shaved for you for the next 121 people.
Okay. That gets us to 1,000, so that's good. Have you been, Jan? How's the job hunt going?
Okay, well, the thing is that there are a couple of jobs out there. Most of them are abroad. Like I applied for Sydney and New York. The German jobs, basically, right now, I applied. I applied a couple. Before we started, I had a look 3 weeks ago, and I haven't heard anything. Or for example, I had. Sometimes you can apply and then you come onto a platform, and then basically you put your application onto the platform.
Yeah.
And then the employer looks and then they mark. For example, one application is in review for a couple of days now. I don't know why they take so long. It's only a 3-page. My CV is only 3 pages long, so I don't know.
Your
why.
CV is 3 pages long. Mine's only 1 page, and I had to condense mine into 1 page because apparently I got in trouble for that. But I've still got my website as a portfolio and stuff like that. Do you guys do cover letters very often?
Sometimes, sometimes not. It's not like the main thing, cover letters, but it's always nice to have. I think it's just that you showed basically a little input before you send out anything to the company you're applying for.
Yeah.
And plus the cover letter is showing off how cool you are. So it's always a thin line whether to be really nice and cool or to say, listen, I'm the Superman, I can do everything, basically, and that's
I remember
tough way.
seeing, speaking of Superman, I think you'll appreciate this. There was this old school comic panel of some type of costume competition at the Daily Planet, which is where Clark Kent works, and Lois Lane won for dressing up as Athena, the goddess of victory in Greek mythology. But then Clark Kent dressed up as Superman, and he only came second. So Superman lost the dress-up competition as himself. So, can't win them all. You wanted to talk to me today about networking.
Yes, exactly. Because it's part of our, right now, of our situation, finding jobs. And, nowadays networking, I mean, I did networking without applications on mobiles. It's like you have meetings and then you go out and then you talk to people, and sometimes you get drunk while talking and stuff like that, or
Isn't that
have
the
really
best?
nice. Exactly, and then or get really embarrassed. But nowadays, for example, there's a platform called LinkedIn,
Yes,
and I don't know if you use this LinkedIn
all the
page.
time.
All the time. So what are you doing with this page for yourself?
Currently, I am trying to find jobs, and so it's a lot of searching and looking and doing that. But in terms of using it for, connecting with people and messaging and stuff like that, I'm not really doing that. But I am familiar with some of the tools that are on LinkedIn. So
Because it's, for me, LinkedIn, or in German we have Xing or Crossing, they say, sometimes. And it is basically a business application for networking, for growing your network, being active, gathering, getting more and more people, getting more and more attention, especially in LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn in my world is, for companies to show, hey, we are really cool, look what we did, and all that, and we show it and we can, play around and everybody sees it. It's a simple way, and then and plus you have this thing called messaging and you can write and then maybe some people answer you. And
Maybe.
then maybe, and then, as a normal person, and, you don't need to pay for the premium account on LinkedIn. Any other account is they show you that other people watched your profile, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You see this.
I don't have the premium, but sometimes I get the notifications being like 5 people viewed your profile this week. And then you can
Exactly.
click it, and then if I'm not mistaken, it can sometimes tell you what field they're from and sometimes what companies, but I think the premium version lets you see the profiles, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the not premium version just tells you, like you said, exactly. Listen, there's someone from this company looked onto your profile.
Yep.
So, and plus, right now, I'm in the position I am opening for jobs. So you can click this on your profile, and then around your fucking head or whatever is on your profile picture, it says open for jobs. And then people approach you and I see right away, okay, here's a strategist or a creative person from this agency or this farm, this company, whatever it's called, many different branches and, and industries.
Mm.
And then if I have the premium account, I can even see the person and I can write that person. So if I don't have this premium account, or at least I see the person, sometimes, I can look into the company and look, there's a pharmacy or this called, do you know, for example, Bayer? That's a huge company who made the aspirin, who
Okay.
invented
Yep.
aspirin.
Yep.
And and Bayer is a German company, and they come onto my profile somehow, so I can I go on Bayer, and then I see they are looking for open jobs and stuff like that, so I
Yep.
can
Yep.
approach to them. If I have a premium account, it's much easier and quicker because I see that the HR from Bayer was looking onto my account. So as for me, as a normal person coming from the real world and not just being digital, it's a communication. Someone came to me and looked on my profile.
Mm.
It's the digital world.
Yeah.
So what do? I say hi. So I approach the person, right?
You said
Or
hi. That's so difficult. I can't believe you did that.
yes, right. And even sometimes, for and the especially in our advertising industry, we are quite the first mover always to be on top of everything,
Mm.
because it's part of our industry. So if you are doing networking over LinkedIn and someone is looking onto my profile, I say hi. I did this by myself. So I went up to the people and say, hi, listen, you are the CEO of blah, blah, blah. I don't care. And here's my CV. Maybe it's interesting for you. So this person is looking onto my profile then
Yeah.
on one day. And the next week again. So I hit the bottom chat and I wrote this person, hi, do you need any further information about me? And I know this person is looking for jobs because on his page it's looking open for hiring, But the person I never get an answer.
Yep. I know this all too well. And it's very much a case of, I think the first thing that happens is they hire someone and then they forget to take the job posting down, which is very, very common. And the other thing that I often find myself caught up in is I'll apply for something. They'll be like, company has viewed your application. Then I won't hear anything again from it. And then potentially a month later, it'll be like the job posting has closed. It's nice when they send a personal email, which is like, cool, but sometimes they don't. But
Oh
whatever. It's
yeah,
it's a hard world.
I know. The thing is that, but there's a difference between, I think, if I apply for a job and all the emails I get back is, hey, thanks for your application. We are really nice that you like our company and the job, our open job. We take now a couple of days or weeks to review everything, to read it properly. And in case you are a fit, we get back to you.
Yep.
So if they never get back to me, then I'm not a fit, which is absolutely okay. This happens to me at kindergarten application in Germany. If you apply for your kid and you never hear back, they don't take you.
Yep.
It's fine. But networking and saying, "Hey guys, I'm the guy," and you look onto my page is like basically sitting in a party, and being behind the wall and always like, "Oh no, there's the Joe. Okay, now he's looking at me." It's really bizarre, I think, about this, because in the reality, if you do networking events, and this is what LinkedIn is just about, it's a 24/27 networking event.
24/7.
Yeah, 24/7. What did I say?
You said
27?
24/27.
Oh, okay.
That's good, yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
If this is, it's for me, it's a networking event the whole time. That's what this application is for. And I think in the digital world, it's even easier to approach people. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
and plus, I don't approach, sorry to say, I don't approach the janitor or the doorman or anybody else. When I approach people, it's either HR or a CEO,
Yeah, yeah.
because these are the people I want to talk to. So,
Well, what I wanted
and
to, I guess, add to this was you're totally right about LinkedIn being a networking place and all that sort of stuff. And then in Australia, we have Seek. In America, a big popular one that's coming around is ZipRecruiter. So I'm on that and I get notifications from it. But I was brought up because social media was around. I was, goodness, like 4 or 5 when Facebook came out, and then YouTube a year after. So, social media and the digital age has been around just about my whole life. And from that, stranger danger isn't just something that's taught. So when you're walking around with your brothers grabbing something from the 7-Eleven, milk and bread, you don't talk to strangers. There's also stranger danger online. And I think people, even on LinkedIn, even though it's a professional site where people, look their best and present their best, I still sort of feel like there's a bit of internet stranger danger, and it's a bit hard to communicate with people at times online. And I know Facebook and Instagram and TikTok are the main culprits of online stranger danger, but like, do you think that really occurs in LinkedIn or not so much?
no, I don't think so. I mean, come on. It's when you are now we're talking about getting jobs, paid networking. Let's step 5 years back now, when we didn't need this. In 5 years, in your years, you go out partying, you want to get laid. What do? You don't find this person, this man or woman or LGBTG in your room, right? So you take a shower, you get dressed, you smell well, you going out, and then you're out in the dark, you hear loud music, people are sweating, and then you see a person, and then what do? You turn around? No. You fucking take another zip, and then you go up and say hi, or you do a crazy move, or you fart into your hand and say, "Listen, this smells really nice, like flour." I don't know.
Can I tell you what I did recently? This you'll find is terrible. Do you know the song "Anti-Hero" by Taylor Swift?
And if you sing it, I probably hear it. The name doesn't
It's
tell me
me.
anything.
Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of how it goes. But I was at an emo themed party at a club in Melbourne, and there was a grungy emo cover of that song playing that was a bit more of a screamer, and I can't really sing, so I'm not going to imitate it. But as soon as the chorus came on, it was a girl nearby. I'm like, and she's like that, and I'm like, it's me. Hi. during the song, and so
Well,
terrible.
exactly.
Hey.
Yeah, but did she look or did she do anything?
Yeah, we said hi. We had a chat. We got a drink. So yeah.
So you nailed it, you nailed, yes, because this is the first approach, later on the bar drinking, and then think, whoa, she has like two crooked eyes and I don't like her eyebrow, or those little things, then you say, okay, bye, ciao, but it was nice, you talked,
Yeah, it was.
but if you get ghosted, this is how I heard, this is the
Mm-hmm.
new word about it,
Yep.
you write someone and then they never get back.
Yep. Ghosted.
It's ridiculous, it's because it shows, and I do this to big companies, we're talking about like 200 employees, so it's a bigger company, and then you talk to, you to the CEO and or the managing director, and and then this happens, I think, wow, if this person is already in the digital world, because it is the safer area for everybody in the digital world, because I don't, I can't smell him, I can't touch him or anything like that,
You can't see how nice
and
their clothes are and stuff like that, like how they
exactly,
present
of
themselves.
for example, what happens, at networking events, you want to meet a person, and then this person is always around the busy, and when the person, I don't know, walks to the toilet, and you see this, and you tap him on the shoulder, hey guy, and he turns on, oh yeah, you talk, and then they say,
Is that the
I
sound
need
of
to.
their urine stream going into your mouth? Like, what's going on? Like,
Probably, just let me know, and or let me take a 5-minute break and I come back. At least you have communication. There's one person sending something out, and there's another person getting this information,
yeah,
and especially if you are doing business nowadays, I think, it's really bad not to say, thank you, but I don't need you.
yeah.
It's like, it's, why is it tough to say no thanks?
I agree with you entirely, especially because there are so many automated emails about everything being like, thank you for applying. Can you please fill out a few more details on this website or this and that? And it's all automatic. Why can't you just have some type of automatic thing? And the default automatic thing is from LinkedIn, this job posting is no longer available. If you haven't heard back from the company, it looks like they're no longer looking for someone in this position. And it's like, that feels even more disrespectful. It's like, how hard must it be just to set up a thank you for applying type automated fucking email? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a bit annoyed
Yes.
by this. This is triggering because I think I've applied for 43 jobs in the past 5 weeks or something like that. So,
And exactly, and this is exactly the point. If you apply for over 40 jobs and there's one company saying thanks but no thanks, but maybe someone wanted to talk to you, and they say, listen, I just, because you're so out of the box, I did this last year, I applied for jobs where I thought, whoa, this is really interesting, I want to do this. I don't know if I'm capable of doing this. I can imagine, yes, I can do that.
yeah.
But it's not for me. It's like, oh, okay, there's like a power plant, and they want to remove this power plant. I can do this. I can organize this removal power plant, and then later on I set it up. I think I can do this.
Do you really think you could do that? I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, of course I can organize, I can do plannings, I can, I'm the first one saying, fuck, I did a mistake, let's turn around, let's talk to other people, let's find solutions. This is, maybe
Yeah,
it's
but
part of
okay,
that
okay.
job.
If you in the example of reorganizing a power plant, like if we're changing where a generator is, where there's electricity, if you're not safe or not qualified, people can die under your supervision. People don't die under your supervision in media unless it's a film shoot with Alec Baldwin. But otherwise, like
That was pretty bad,
your
though.
your confidence is very interesting. Like I just
Of course. Of course, I'm a film producer.
yeah.
There are people in my business who they want to shoot in a jungle, and they said we have to build a runway there because the planes can't land.
Yeah.
This wasn't me. This is Mr. Coppola. But what I did, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, we had a German rapper, a hip hop guy, who said, I want to shoot a video on a huge slide. We said, no problem. He says, can you do this in front of our skyscrapers where I grew up? We said, yeah, no problem. And then we put this, and we had two cranes holding the fucking swing.
Goodness.
And all we needed to check is if the because one crane has 4 legs. So we needed 8 points to be sure to make safe that they don't fall into, because the crane is like I don't know how many tons heavy, so we needed those points. I'm not a construction guy, but I know how to call, and I know how to find out the right person, and I know how to ask. I'm not the professional screwdriver getting screws out, but at least I want to be, I try to do everything, even though I'm not maybe the perfect or the experienced one in this position, taking down a power plant and rebuilding it some other places. I had one company calling me back and saying, yeah, we have this interview because you are still out of the box. We just wanted to talk to you because it's really interesting. And this call was like an hour long, and I discovered that my potential boss, because I had to work underneath of the CEO, has no clue about what the position and the person he was looking for has to do.
Yeah.
Nothing. So he was the guy who was already out of the box.
I was gonna, yeah. It's interesting though, with the creation of positions. I have to tell you 2 stories, because one was about I did 2 job interviews for internships in Berlin, and I told you I was going to tell you that story. But that whole idea of creating a position, I previously worked at an education software company, and I worked in support, so taking a lot of phone calls. And I would do their videos and stuff like that for their Facebook page. And around the time I left, I actually gave this pitch to 3 people about different ways that they could have different videos and how they can series it and all that sort of stuff, and organize it and make sure it's regular and all that sort of stuff. As I had resigned and I was on my last 2 weeks, the week before I left, there was a new position called Community Engagement Specialist that came out, which was in the team above the team that I was working in. And the main tasks were making the videos and managing the Facebook page. And I'm sitting there going, I think they want me to apply. But I had my hands full with a big project, and then I went to Berlin. But I learned from friends at that company that they managed to find someone from that position, and they quit after a week and a half because it was agonizing. They wanted them to do 2 jobs, be really on top of communication and engagement with schools, and do all the Facebook and video stuff. And the combination just was like way too much. They wanted 2 full jobs on one person because they couldn't actually go to the finance person or human resources and go, hey, we need someone for socials, and then another person for client engagement. And so that was a very interesting little thing to hear about. But the one time when a position was made where they intended for me to approach to it, and it's the only time that that's ever happened, and I felt very flattered. But yeah, that was interesting. But here's the other crazy thing. The other job interview that I did, it was for they sort of do like indie articles and social media on like artists and events and things going on. For the sakes of the company, I won't say it out loud, but maybe I'll tell you later. And I'm not even sure if you'll know it. But because I had to interview in German time, I had to my interview in Australia was at 1 a.m. And so
German time 1 a.m.?
No, Australian time 1 a.m. So German time, that would have been 5 or 4 or something like that. Yeah. in any case, it was very late, and I'm just like, whatever. This is how it is, and stuff like that. And I did the job interview, and I did lots of research, and I investigated them, and had a few favorite articles, and that they had written. And so they go in and they ask the question, "Who's your favorite fashion designer?" And they're not a fashion company, and so I'm like, "Oh, I guess I'll have to say Tom Ford. I really liked what he did with Gucci back in the 90s and turning it into the modern brand that it is." And I don't know, just some bullshit answer like that. And then they asked me, sorry, "What is something you like about our Instagram page?" And I was like, "Oh, do you mind if I get it up and take a look?" And they're like, "No problem." German patients. So they were like very easy and ready to go. And they was like, "Could you please share your screen so we know what you're looking at?" I'm like, "Yep, of course." And so I had their page open. They're like, "One thing you like," and I said something like, "Your videos about this type of artist, you've got very similar thumbnails, and I can tell that if I want to watch that type of content, I know where to find it very easily." And then they're like, "What is one thing you don't like about our Instagram page?" And I found in that same continuity that there were a couple of thumbnails that had text on it as like the subtitles, and strictly speaking, you just don't do that, and because it broke continuity. But there were lots of intense questions, and they got in very depth about previous jobs that I'd done, and the processes I did and what software I used and all this sort of stuff. And it went for 45 minutes. It was absolutely insane. And then they did actually contact me back being like, "Hey, we want you to do a demo for us, so we can see how you go." But by that point, I had already accepted to work for you guys. And so I didn't follow through, but that was like, I got so stressed, sweaty armpits, like everything. And thank God I could just, hide it. But
Yeah.
at like 2 a.m. by that point, when I got off, I'm like exhausted, and goodness me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad to find out at the beginning about everybody's, chemistry, thoughts, and all these, what makes it a different or makes it. Sometimes, I think it's a little bit, when you talk about an internship where you don't get paid and you have an hour of hour of interview, and you have to send some work out and stuff like that. It can be a little bit too much on one hand,
Yeah.
but I think it's not bad. And I discover nowadays that these things are, it's very, for a German company, it's very Americanized management style. When these things happen, these are like, when you work, what's happening over here a lot is like they do some quiz during the week about the company and
Mm.
stuff like that. And for the Germans, it's like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to do any quiz. I just want to work here my 8 hours and then leave, And this is sometimes, where you have to find the right way. It's, yeah. Sometimes it's good when you're in big organizations, but if you're in smaller organizations, I think it's just way too much, and it's a wrong way to talk to people, because I think sometimes if you do too much, I think, why should I work for them? What's so really nice? Do I have, because I want to have freedom, I want to do something where I can, rise a little bit and not be like, oh yeah, you want to walk, but you have to walk like this, you want to breathe in, you have to breathe in only until here, all these things, it's sometimes it's too much for for small things, for the daily stuff, because the big organizations tend to make it more complicated,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not more easy,
And it's not just that you apply on LinkedIn, and then you have to create an account on this website. I remember applying for a job at a bank, and it was a very, very long process of
Yeah.
my name's on their system, and I still get job alerts from them, which is interesting, but a lot of them are very tech based, and I'm not techie.
Yeah, I mean nowadays it's funny because you mentioned earlier that many are out there of jobs, you know, or open jobs and or open positions, and then you know they forgot to take them out. This is always, I think, a bad sign. That HR is heavily under pressure or is working too much or is only one person and doesn't get you know the job done proper
Mm,
because it is too much work, you know, and then things that happen and you make mistakes. Sometimes I think the more is that they need to show it to the public, but they have someone internal for this role already,
yeah.
you know, for, like in your example, working in the company doing the job and then finding out that they are looking for exactly this kind of position now, you know, this is always usually then done by a person like you know, then HR is talking to you and say, okay, you get more money, you want to do this job, let's go for it, you know, or even it comes from the person who's doing this, say, listen, I have no 3 jobs here, but I can do 2 and let's find a new position, and then you have the new position, but usually they go out and then you know try to find someone else, but they don't need someone else because they have an internal solution to this project, you know, and I think this is the most part of it, you know.
Yeah. And it's often we going back to my education support job, when the head of support left, instead of promoting one of the team leaders to be head of support, they actually hired someone outside who had been a previous head of support before, and he took over. And there was a bit of a learning curve where he had to learn a lot about the software and the back end and all that sort of stuff. But I was thinking to myself the whole time, why don't they just get someone who knows the technology and the software to get them to be head of support? The only thing that really changes is they have to start writing some more reports and then meeting with the COO every now and then to talk about how many calls were taken and whatnot. You just read out a bunch of statistics. And I would bring this up with other friends, and they said they actually want someone new because they don't like the current culture in your faculty and they want to completely change it. And that's what this, that's why they were hiring outward, and therefore they're trying to change you. So they're clearly either not impressed or just wanting to move around. But I did find it interesting to be to your point where it's like, hey, we have this idea for someone internally for a position, but then the reasons why they then go out is also interesting when it should be obvious, at least in my mind, to move up internally. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
There's another good example over here in Germany. We have in our stock exchange, it's called DAX,
Mm.
and we have 40 companies in there. And a couple of years ago, they said we need more women in high management positions. And they were always, you know, eine Quote. There's basically a number you have to put
Yep.
in. You must have basically.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have this. It's not a kind, I think it's not a rule, you know, by law, but, you know, everybody's pushing now women in higher positions and stuff like that. And this was the case that they see this now after, I think, 5 years, was it? And I don't know the exact percentage now. Please don't get me wrong, but it was between 50 to 70% of the women who came out of who was never inside the company because they didn't have a woman who wants to be the CEO of the company, so they needed to get someone externally.
Right.
And the extern, and they see this especially when they said, you know, we need women, but this is not just a women thing, it's just being the people outside the universe, so to speak, coming into it. They leave earlier than the position is coming inside, from the inside the company, you know. And that's exactly the same. Sometimes you need a new person who says, okay, we do everything different now fuck it, what you guys did.
Yeah.
This is one thing. The other thing is then if you say you want to have it all the same like it was because it's good, we just need to get the head out because the old head, is like really old guy, and let's get a good woman in here who's like maybe 20 years younger than the 70-old person. So we always talk about women in their 50s or men in their 50s who come from the outside of the organization inside the organization. And if you don't want to have a new broom to clean up everything really proper, then you have a problem, because the new ones always do this. They always do.
And then suddenly mold develops, and then you have to break down the walls, and it becomes like chaos.
Yes, we see this at, for example, football coaches. They have a new team. Sometimes it's the team they didn't change any team player out, but they completely different because the coach just pulled little triggers, or it doesn't work out anyways.
Yeah.
And this is something. It's exactly the same with the in economics. Maybe we should have one episodes of sport metaphors or sport examples compared to business examples, because I think this is where many people can learn and keep it in their head for their work, because I think it's quite similar.
Yeah. And I think given how like in Australia sports very big and stuff like that, when I was in high school, the sporting teams and the sporting faculties were given the most amount of support and attention. Drama kids had their own little niche in their pocket of fun, but it was athletes. But even like I'm agreeing with you, sport is the best way to use metaphors and stuff like that, and the best place to get started. But I wanted to ask you now, we're going to move from digital to real life, because true story, I'm going to a networking night with a bunch of graduates and other people, and there's a speaker in 2 nights, and I actually have never gone to any of these things before. So you're going to tell me what to wear, what to do, and how do I start? And the first quick question is, should I bring business cards?
If you are back in the 90s, yes, maybe you should bring business cards. Nowadays, you don't need really to bring business cards. Okay. The only good point about business cards is that you prolong your stay inside the person, because nowadays, back then, like in the 90s, this was hunting. This was part of hunting, so you have the card, you can call the person right away. Now it's more hunting for their LinkedIn profile or other profiles. You can ask, are you on LinkedIn, so I can approach you?
Yeah.
This is maybe the easiest way. It depends. So before, what kind of networking event is it? Do you sit down? Is it a program you have? Or is it basically you have to come at 7 p.m. and it's an open bar and you can talk?
I can double check this, but from what I can remember, it involved oh goodness, it could take a minute before I find it. Is it called that? Okay, it's an event for... Yeah, they're calling it... I'm not going to say what it's called, but the event includes studio owners, leaders, grads, and interns. And there is a keynote speaker that's going to be there, who is a graduate from... event information. There we go. Key focus is to give emerging talent the best possible start in the design industry by connecting talented students with studio owners and leaders. Introducing Blank, a series of presentations of creative interns, graduates, practicing designers, and studio owners and leaders around Australia. This Melbourne event will kick off. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Then the second part of the event will be a conversation between grads and designers around why offering or agreeing to work for free isn't the best way to launch your career. and how to get the most out of internships or even your first role, and a Q&A. There will also be an opportunity to network during the night. So there is a few phases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a part of Q&A for in public?
Yes. Not
Okay.
public. The people who are there. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not like so. Okay, so you get a mic and you say, "Listen, after the keynote, maybe there's Q&A and you can talk."
Yep.
You know. So it's like okay, and and what time is it?
It is an evening event. It starts at 6:30 until 9 p.m.
Okay, good. And in Germany, usually we have drinks at that time. Do you have this in Australia too? Alcoholic
I'm
drinks?
gonna think that there are drinks and maybe nibbles and small bits of
Yeah.
food, but uh, yeah, there isn't anything here quickly saying it. But I'm gonna assume that there are, but if there's, let's say there are, just for the sake of conversation.
Exactly. And what is your personal aim of this when you read this? Ah, there's a networking event. So, what is your aim? What do you want to get out of this?
The main thing is studio leaders and industry leaders to sort of to introduce myself to them and to get my profession as a producer a bit more out there and introduce my working capabilities to these people.
Okay. Okay. So, and you might, okay, because this is basically then the aim of everybody else.
Yep.
So coming to this network, and especially for the people who want to talk to the people of leadership and studio owners, they sit basically there and they got told, listen, there are all kinds of crazy young people coming up and they will talk to you and you might find the new employee, blah, 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 right?
Mm.
And do you want to be more creative or more business?
Think more business, more producing, more
Okay.
business. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So basically, and you are looking for, so you don't look rich. This is very important. You don't look
Currently, yeah.
rich. So now, yeah, I mean the thing is to look like maybe you need to wear a skirt and not a t-shirt, what you have now, but maybe a t-shirt works in Australia. I don't know. I
Yeah.
wouldn't wear this. I would wear a shirt,
Okay.
but I
Button up.
don't
Yep.
wear jewelry. All okay. I'm married, but and maybe a watch.
I
That's
should
all.
probably
No
cover
rings.
this, right? Like,
Could be,
yep.
yes. First of all, because you don't know, maybe there are all kinds of, they have fucking tattoos on their forehead. Then
That's
you can,
true. Yeah.
always scramble down, and then you're one of those tattoo guys too.
Well, it's funny because my older brother does tech. He does QA at a bank, and then me doing creative. The creative people wear all sorts of crazy fashion forward shit, and then the tech people wear hoodies and tracksuit pants to work. And then you go to events and you see both of that. Especially
Yes.
the really artsy people, they're dressing up crazy Sam Smith blow up. So
Yes.
it is a creative event, I guess, strictly speaking. So it's like I guess you can't go wrong wearing a button-up shirt and simple
Exactly.
pants. Yeah.
Exactly. And this is exactly all you need. That's what I meant. You don't have to look rich, so you don't wear all the expensive suits and ties and rings and jewelry and goggles, with gold and stuff, because then the people say, oh, this is the guy who has money. I want to talk to him. But you are the one who are juggling with money, but it's not yours, right?
Yep.
So you need to keep the people you want to talk to. This is your first aim, to safe hands. Then if you come up and you approach as a mid-20 person in the media industry, if you have one guy who's talking like that with a crazy hat on, and say at the end of the way, they give me fucking 2 million. They don't do this.
Yeah.
They are talking to a person they know, they understand. He's like, okay, calm down. There are 2 million, is a lot of money, and let's stick together and let's find a way to spend the money wisely. This is something else, than the guy who's talking, woohoo, I'm famous, I have 2 million followers, no, and
Yep.
not for this. Yeah. Secondly, I know you are a well-built person, but if you drink, you know, first drink is, and when you talk to people, no alcohol. Later on, if they have alcohol, or they say, oh, I just finished my beer, do you want a beer?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Yep.
If you drink,
Okay.
there's a difference saying, oh no, I don't drink alcohol. In the media we had this, then maybe you have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah.
to show this, and you don't want to show that you are the drinking. You can, X the fucking beer, and then at the end, yeah, wow. You don't want to be that too, right?
It's one of those subtle things where, because you're trying to promote yourself, you want to say yes as much as possible. And when they go, do you want to drink? And you say no, it's like they're going to anticipate more no's. So just say yes. You want to be on their side. So I've thought of that before, but I actually don't know if I am going to drink. If I'm honest, I'm trying to lay it off a little bit just because of a new exercise routine I'm on. So
Then
maybe
you
one.
say no. Then you say you have a new exercise routine, and there's no cheating day. Everybody will understand it in your atmosphere, in your hemisphere. I don't. There's cheating day is like on the weekend. Oh yeah, are you doing workout? Yeah, I'm running every day, like for 50 kilometers, no problem. You don't have to prove this,
Okay. Yeah.
at that night. So this is okay when you say that, and I
Okay.
don't want to drink alcohol. Then the second is, let's say this event is a huge success and there comes 100 of people, so you're one of the mass people, so maybe you're already with your button-up shirt, but open at the end, so you kind of open for being creative guy, but you make business too.
Mm-hmm.
And um, sorry, I lost it. I had an idea now, but this was stupid.
I kind of want to hear it now. What's the stupid idea?
No.
Bust at a
It's
dance move?
well, no, the thing is, you have to be recognized out of the mass of people.
Yep.
So, because let's say you don't be recognized by wearing a shirt and a nice pants,
Yep.
So maybe, I don't know, in Germany, what we do get on these networking events are, if you apply and they say, oh, thank you, Joe Orchard, okay, yours here, you come and you get a little sticker, you put it on your chest,
Yep.
your name and your company name.
Okay.
This is sometimes provided because people talk and you say, hi, I'm Joe, blah blah blah, and then you talk 2 or 3 minutes. Everybody never understood your fucking first name.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just embarrassed to say, sorry, it was really nice talking to you, but I didn't get your name. You're too embarrassed to do this. This could help. So there's a name. Maybe this networking event is doing this for everybody else. If not, and this is much crazier than a fucking business card is, if you have this by yourself, Joe Orchard, and then they say, that's funny, this guy, oh, he has fucking name on it, and you don't need a fucking t-shirt on it where it says Joe Orchard, on like printed.
So do you think I should just have a little card thing, or should I wear a lanyard with my name on it?
No, I would put a small one,
Okay.
If you need this, because then everybody, the people who understand that, because it's networking and you open up, this is something you can always show. If there are 3 people standing together with a person you really want to talk to, the most important person, what will happen if the 4th person, you come up to the group and you just stand there with your
Awkward,
fucking
yeah.
name tag? He will say, and then you are approached, and all the 3 other people are not important anymore. Because you say, yeah, thanks for looking at me, and I'm blah, 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 and then you need to talk, and you need to open up with small talk. You need to know what small talk you want to talk about. And one thing, if it's like really like up to date, is much easier to come in. And that's why the Brits always talk about the fucking weather. Small talk, because it's changing a lot over there on the island, and you always, oh yeah, you had sun today? No, I had rain today, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly you are in the game of talking to a person you've never seen before. That's why small talk is so important if you approach, especially if you know the person you want to approach. You know, hey, Mr. So and so, hi, my name is Joe, and I saw that you blah 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 did this and that, and then the people is like, you know, you have to talk. It's no your outcoming to talk to people. That's very important because they talk to 100 of people. They shaking hands to 100 of people. None of them stick into their head unless they are fucking crazy looking, you know, or you know, there's something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And plus, you always have in this position what you have. That's why Q&A is so important. You have one chance. And remember, when you go back to high school, to get a good grade, you had to have a good test at the end, and you need to be participating
In class. Yeah.
orally in class. And so when you are, if there's a Q&A, you step up. Either you're the first one, everybody will remember the first one because you're the person who breaks the ice. Or you are the last one in Q&A, or you are the crazy guy who has two fucking questions.
Is that annoying, or because I want to leave a good impression? If you have two
No,
questions, is
no, because think ahead. The first question is an open one, so the person can talk, oh, blah, 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 like me. And then your second one is, you have to listen for the second one, because the second one is going deeper into the content of the person who's talking to you. So what is the person happening when they talk, and then suddenly you have a second question who's taking it from their mouth? They say they are flattered. The guy listened. The guy was able to think while I was talking to get a new question out, you know? And it's basically what you've learned when you do interviews. You have to sit there, you know, behind the camera, and when you go like this the whole time, the person gets annoyed at the end of the day, you know? You have, and then you, if you do only like this, you cannot think your next question going deeper into the content.
yeah, yeah,
And that's the important thing. If you, and then there's no small talk about Q&A question. If you say, hey guys, you woke up on a sunny day, no, that's the stupid question, you know. If he's talking or she's talking about a fucking, I don't know, my studio, my technology, blah blah blah, and you can say, oh, I have one question about this technology, I have this heard, blah blah blah, and then, oh, okay, thank you for asking, maybe this was not so clear, and then blah blah blah, and then you go ahead, and then
should I ask
everybody
them
will
about
know.
AI?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. And then you, and then in the follow-up meeting, when you talk to the person after the Q&A with the microphone, you can always say, I have my own artificial intelligence test
Yep.
going on, blah 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 blah. Maybe, and this is my sentence, I always say, when can I steal 30 minutes of your time?
Oh, that's a good one. All right, I'll have
And
to note
this
that down.
brings, yes, and this brings the other person. First of all, I am asking for when he is or she is available,
Yeah.
and I know that I have nothing else but stealing. Because if you need to steal, you have nothing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
poor. So
I like
you're a
that.
poor person.
When
He's
can
the
I
rich.
steal 30 minutes of your time? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All
You
right.
know, and then you can leave the place, because then you approach him 5 days later or next week or 4 days later. Listen here, I'm Joe, blah blah blah, it was so nice meeting you, and we talked about AI, blah blah blah, and then the person will get to you. Otherwise, maybe ghosting,
Yeah.
or
That's the
even,
risk though. That's just how it is.
that's
Like,
always the risk.
yeah.
That's always the risk. But at the end of the day, is what's your opportunity? To stand in the very back corner, fucking dark, no one sees you, and you have fun drinking the beer, looking at all the other people, and you don't do anything.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, that's the thing, to go
Embrace
out.
it. Do it. Yep.
Yes, exactly. And of course, everybody will forgive if you, hey, my name is, oh, sorry, my name is Joe,
Yep.
because you are nervous. It's absolute, everybody else is nervous there too. I had once, I was invited on networking event, and it was a particular theme. It was only once a year during Christmas time, a 3-course dinner in a really expensive and fancy place. And you
Okay.
had to apply for this months earlier, and everybody, and it was always very limited to people because there were 10 tables with 8 seats. And either you were a sitter or a walker.
Yep.
Because A, B sitting on a table, 4 stay, 4 leave.
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
new are coming, so there's always this thing. If you sit, and then between every single course, there's a networking event. Someone was talking on a really nice keynote about something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you had to listen, you had to talk to someone else, you had to be nice, you were drinking, the waiters are coming, you were eating, and you still had to meet these people and to get to know them, And it's sometimes everybody, and they were high, like old people, rich people, and everybody wanted to try there, At the end of those 3 courses, the menu was over. Everybody was sitting, because what's happening in networking events, you do 2 networking events and you might see 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people you talked at the first networking event. On the second networking event, when you see them, you know how you approach them. Hey,
Yeah.
suddenly you have old friends.
Yeah.
And then after, the networking event is over, you sit with those 2 guys or 2 girls, ladies drinking in the bar. So what's happening? And then, suddenly you talk private. You don't talk networking and blah, 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 buzzwords. You talk private. I have my ass hurts, blah, 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 stuff like that, I don't drive cars anymore, stuff. And then, you get those really deep networking friends then.
Yeah. So to summate, the big line is, when can I steal 30 minutes of your time? Ask a question at the start or the end, and if you can sneak in a follow-up question, play that risk. Dress up smartly, but don't look too wealthy, because then people are going to think of you differently.
If you are in the, for example, if you do a networking event where you need to find people who invest into your company, but it's 70% of the investment is already taken last year, 2 years ago, and you need 30%, the rest of the investment, you need to look like money.
Okay, yeah. Just mainly
that's
because
what I
it's
mean.
got interns, graduates, practicing designers, and studio owners, and so I need to look like a graduate. So
exactly, you look like a graduate who worked already there, who has experience.
Yeah.
You're not unexperienced anymore. You can always talk about the time working in abroad.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's how I
Don't
introduce the
mention
question.
don't mention internship.
Oh, say I worked. Yeah. No, I know that one.
Yes, of course. I've worked in the post-production in Berlin for the company called The Mill.
Yep.
Oh, what did you do? I worked in production. We did many
Yeah.
stuff like that. You don't need, in this time of period, it's everything what you do on a networking event, and it never go too deep.
Yeah.
Never.
Surface
There's
level.
not the time.
Yeah.
There's not the time. They don't care. They don't want that information. If you are so sexy and well smelling, and this fruit, I want to have this guy into my company. Stuff like that, they will go later on, and then on the next meeting, next Friday, next Monday, follow-up meetings, then they come, and then they want to, you need to put your pants down and then say, listen, this is how I am.
God damn it. I knew you were going to end it with some dirty joke. I was just waiting for it. Oh, goodness.
You see?
We've just hit an hour, but did you want to have an update on my AI experiment? You asked briefly about it, and this will be the public's. I'm at day 17 or 16 now, or even 18, and the channel has, get ready for it, it's currently loading up saying in total channel views 15,000. in
18. 15. Yeah.
15,15000.
Wow.
It has 9 subscribers. The most viewed video has 2,897. It's, and the least viewed video is 0. Most of the videos have less than 29 views. And I realized this because part of the experiment was doing different types of AI chose the different types of podcasts that I was getting the clips from. I could explain the experiment again, but we'd be here for another 30 minutes and I don't want to bore the audience. So listen to the previous episode where I talk about it a lot to get a full idea. But the podcast I get the clips from, chosen by AI, and I had 5 to begin with, just so I could see different types of content to see who pops off. Now, the first content I did featured this guy, comedian, in it, and they did well. But then when I started doing other comedians, 0 views, 0 attention, and whatnot. And I was actually feeling really depressed about it. I was like, I'm not entitled to any views by any means. I don't deserve them. But it would be cool to get some because then the experiment has like numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So after trying the different podcasts, I went back to the first one and I'm just like, I'll just get the best of moments from that podcast, a long video of that, get clips from it and try uploading it. And I got views again. And what this taught me is that YouTube identifies a face for your channel and then promotes that face. And I've researched this privately, and this is the case. To where if you're just posting all sorts of different content from different locations, YouTube actually like struggles to create your channel's identity with a face on it, and therefore the algorithm won't favor it. But when I moved back to posting about more clips from this one guy, then the views have come in. And for this coming week, he has a podcast with Joe Rogan, and I've found and created a bunch of clips from that podcast. And I'm going to see if just using the biggest name in podcasting as part of the AI thing is going to impact the content and how that goes using clickbait and that type of stuff.
So if your face would be always at the beginning of each clip, would this help then?
Potentially, but it would seem misguiding to the video to have me at the start and then cut off to a clip of, let's say it's Bobby Lee talking about something. And so it also kind of breaks the AI thing where I would then be editing and then creating my own thing from it. So
Okay.
Yeah. But
It would be
overall,
funny,
it's been very interesting. I love how this is going, and I'm loving
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
I mean, to have 15,000 views, within what, 3 weeks or something like that?
Less than 3 weeks, 2.5.
Yeah, I think this is quite good. I mean, I have no numbers to compare with, but I think you are definitely on the right way. And I'm thinking of how to trick this out with AR. That maybe you can do AR that it's not your face, because then, like you said, there's another person's video, but maybe we can do this for AR, to identify it's always the same, and then, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
So yeah, somewhat. Like
Put it this way, in Berlin we have Spätis, right?
Yep. It's like
And
a 7-Eleven or a service station.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly, and usually quite small.
Yep.
And packed with all kinds of products. We don't know all kinds of products, but we always go in Spätis and usually we find them.
Yep.
So, can we compare this to our AI thing that, because I'm thinking of, those prank videos. There are always kinds of pranks, but different pranks and different people, and they get viewed so much. So there must be something to get viewed, because they are always changing their faces, because they are always different people.
Yeah, totally. I can see where you're coming from there. And I think with YouTube, if you have lots of subscribers and followers and recurring viewers, then you're able to change the content up a little bit, including different faces. And it's not going to matter as much because your subscribers are going to get alerted, and that's going to get communicated to your audience fine. And performance is going to depend on the content in the end. I think another thing that potentially has impacted my AI experiment channel is that I haven't actually posted videos. It's just been shorts, and we don't have to be business majors to know that YouTube have two products, videos and shorts. They want you to use both products. So if I posted a video and the shorts, there would be more attention and the view count would be higher. However, the video is not part of the experiment, so we're just we're playing it like that for now. So the video I could post theoretically is a best of clips and just put them all together, 10-minute long or however it is, and see how that goes. But
or to have a 10-second intro in front of every clip done by AI, so it can identify itself.
Potentially.
And then one other question is, can we have an AI viewer? So the AI views AI the whole time. And
yeah,
then
you can have
so many clicks.
Yeah, you can have bots doing it, but
no, we created our own AI who's
It feels a bit disingenuous, and I think for the sakes of maybe another experiment, because I've already got two ideas for new experiments.
Okay, you see, they're coming in, my friend.
Yeah. I'll maybe we don't have too much time necessarily, but I'll have to tell you about them. I'll briefly tell you about them after the call. But with this current one, I want it to be organic, because promoting it and stuff like that is kind of cheap and easy, and you can artificially inflate your numbers. I've never said the name of the channel publicly to anyone. There's a few people who have, come by my house and I've showed them the channel because they know about it, but that's it. But publicly speaking, no one knows the name of the channel yet. In 2 weeks, you'll know the name of the channel and you'll be able to see all this stuff, and I'll be able to prove it to you. But I've still been documenting everything. I've started writing the script for the final big video. Watching all of my graphs, change over time. It's been a really, really fascinating, engaging experiment to see how AI can be used in the creative process on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, great. So, I'm really looking forward. It's so funny because, I think there's something, and this is what you should talk about on your networking event.
Totally. I'm bringing this up for sure, yeah.
Bring this up and, and then you see whether they jump on it or not,
Yeah.
And always come in with a because it's selling yourself and no one wants to have the salesperson talking, this is something what you have to watch in this stuff. Oh, and one other thing, when you talk about the experiment, always try in those networking events, it's a test. It's nothing, and something protected, something small, because then, if you show it to the people, the expectations are not so high.
Yeah.
However,
I do want to say, even though you'd mentioned, I don't know how to compare the view numbers to it, even though YouTube is a platform where people get multiple millions of views on videos recurring, I am still impressed with 3,000 views on the most viewed thing, because if you think of 3,000 people in an area, 3,000 of most things is a lot. Like,
absolutely.
Hold 3,000 pieces of Lego. Get given 3,000 euros. That's a lot of money, like at once. It's pretty cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus you're not, I don't know, George Michael or Michael Jordan.
No, yeah.
VIP, there's no huge 2 million production for 20-second pieces or anything like that, you know. And plus there's no commercial what you do to say, listen guys, here I pay money to promote my site or anything like that. So this will always come on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Great.
Anyway, I think we're at an hour and 10 minutes now. We're getting longer and longer. We find that our chats just keep going, hey.
Exactly. So, but next time, one thing, I will leave on Saturday for 1 week. So maybe we can find time on Friday.
Yep. To record another one. Yep. Sure thing.
Yeah. Okay. And then we take the trailer you sent me. The creator.
Yeah. I'll talk about that. But anyway, thanks everyone. We'll see you next week. Ciao, ciao.